Area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police splatter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
From the Heart Media Group newsroom and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this expanded morning newscast. Good morning and thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. A DeWitt County nonprofit is inviting those in the healthcare industry and human service providers to join them for its monthly meeting next week, where they will be planning for 2026 and beyond. On the WHOW Morning Show Thursday, Sharon Mills with the DeWitt County 708 Board told the Heart Media Group the monthly DeWitt County Coalition meeting next Wednesday at the Warner Library will be part of the upcoming community needs assessment process, but they are looking to hear from people on the front line.
So the DeWitt County Coalition meets monthly on the second Wednesday of the month. This is really an informal group of healthcare and human service providers that come together regularly to talk about things happening within their own organizations, issues they may be seeing in the community or having that we could potentially work together on or problem solve about, share resources, and sometimes having a bit of professional development during those meetings. So that coalition is open to really community advocates as well as anyone in the healthcare and human service field serving DeWitt County residents. And we'd love, there's no cost to join. There's no cost to attend meetings. It really is an opportunity for good networking and staying in touch with one another.
Sure. According to Mills, this meeting is going to be of particular significance to the 708 board because they are in the midst of their 3-year community needs assessment. While that survey is open to the community, she says they want to have input from folks on the front lines in DeWitt County.
So the coalition each month will be hosted by a different agency who has stepped up to facilitate that particular meeting. We are using next week's meeting, the January meeting, as a kickoff for 2026. So we'll be talking about plans for the year, who will be hosting, seeking additional signups if all of the months aren't covered yet, seeking input about topics that people might want to see covered through the coalition as well. We are using this particular meeting being hosted by the Mental Health Board and with Heritage as part of our assessment process. So we'll be doing some breakout groups of discussion as well as having general discussion with everyone that's there.
Molly Tenuto with Heritage Behavioral Health Center indicates Heritage will also be interested in the Wednesday meeting because they are set to expand services this spring and want to hear from the community on where they feel services should be prioritized.
Well, really to give the chance for providers to talk about issues or needs they're seeing in the community, challenges perhaps they're facing in serving the DeWitt County population, as well as strengths and things that we want to make sure to continue to do that are working well in the community.
And how we can maybe work together better. Are there ways that we can improve that? Or what's working really well that maybe two agencies are doing really well? How can we bring more people into that? So that way access to care for the community is easier and let's not make things harder than it needs to be.
This meeting, again, is Wednesday, January 14th at 11 a.m. with a lunch served and the meeting to follow. It will be at the Warner Library. RSVPs are requested by this Friday. You can RSVP by emailing sMills@dewittmhb.com. Get more information about the DeWitt County Mental Health Board at dewittmhb.com. A local financial advisor is warning against pen pal scams. Connie Miller with the DeWitt Savings Bank says scams are only becoming more common and more convincing. She recently came across a case of a scammer posing as a pen pal and asking the victim to loan them money that they did not plan to give back. Scammers will often pose as loved ones as well with a similar goal.
It's like a plague, just growing and growing. And people are getting more creative too. So I just this morning I had a call from someone who she had mentioned that she had a new pen pal that she met. And I asked her, so how did you meet this pen pal? And she said, well, she texted me by accident. And she thought she was texting someone else. Then we got talking, and then I was like, this is a scam. This is a scam. If in doubt, it's a scam. Don't continue texting her. And she's like, but we're texting on a pen pal app. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. This is where it starts. And they gain your trust, whether it's something like this is very common. People just text you, you get an unsolicited text that you didn't expect. And then next thing you know, you're good buddies with them and they ask for money to come visit you, or, like, oh, I'm poor. This girl bonded on some trauma they both experienced. I said, well, did you mention it first? Of course, yes, she mentioned her life, and then it turned that this person had the same issue. A little suspicious. So, but if people get caught off guard because they don't know that this happens all the time. Us being in the bank, we see it daily. So they will start this conversation with you unsolicited. They become your friend, and then they might ask for money to come visit you, like maybe if it's the boyfriend girlfriend scam, or they might say, hey, because of this thing that happened to me, I can't afford my rent. And you're like, oh, I can help you. And it's a scam.
Miller says that scammers do not discriminate when it comes to their attempted victims. Elderly people are often the targets because, on average, 77% of assets belong to people who are 55 and up. That being said, she indicates that millennials and Gen Z are the most likely groups to fall for a scam.
Everybody. And the scary part is that we always think it's the older people. And in general, older people are scammed more or targeted more because they own 77% of assets. People over 55 own most assets because they have retirement accounts. And if they've converted it into an income stream, or they're receiving retirement benefits, those are great targets because they have a lot of money. But the people who are most likely to be scammed are your millennials and Gen Zs, because they trust people more. Yeah, they're used to having digital conversations. They go quickly, they bounce from this to this, and they don't think. They're used to, like, just seeing something really quick. So they don't take the time to think this through, like, oh, this could be a scam. So they get scammed more, but they have less money to take.
Fake websites with deals that are too good to be true try to convince victims that they are purchasing an item at a good price, when in reality they are giving up their payment information.
Fake sites to buy goods and services is huge. Even people buying off of Amazon and not getting their goods, things like that are very, very prevalent. Then you try to return that cheap item that didn't look anything like the picture, and you can't. Or they say they never received it. So I had that issue. I bought some clothes online on Amazon and I returned them. I got the return verification and everything, and they say they never received them. And there's nothing you can really do except get on the phone like 15 times with Amazon. So so there's stuff like that going on. But we also have a lot of investment scams going on right now. And it might be like, if we're desperate or greedy, we're susceptible to a scam. And that's the people they get, the desperate people and the greedy people. So people see it as, I have no way out, or I'm 50.
Miller adds that taking the time to think twice before making a purchase or sending money electronically can be the difference between falling for a scam and not. Get news anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com. From the Hart Media Group Sports Desk, IL Sports Wire, and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this local sports report. Keaton Wagler scored 17 points and pulled down 7 rebounds, and Tomislav Izovic had 14 points to lead the number 16 Fighting Illini to an 81-55 victory over the Rutgers Scarlet Knights on Thursday night. Andrei Stojakovic had 12 points and 8 rebounds. Jake Davis scored a dozen points, and David Mirkovic grabbed 8 rebounds for the Illini, who go to 12-3 and now 3-1 in the Big Ten and won their 4th straight. Illinois was 18 of 21 at the free throw line. The Illini lead the Big Ten and are number 3 in the country in free throw percentage. Caden Power scored 12 points, and Heron Zerno added 11 points for Rutgers, who fall to 8-8 and 1-4 in the Big Ten. Illinois went on a 20-0 run in the final 7.5 minutes of the first half and led 43-16 at halftime. Davis scored all 12 of his points on 4 3-pointers in the first half, just 4 fewer points than the Scarlet Knights. Rutgers shot 21% from the floor in the opening half, 6 of 28, including 2 of 13 on threes, and was 2 of 6 on free throws. Tariq Francis, Rutgers' leading scorer, had an off night. He scored 6 points on 3 of 10 shooting while playing just 17 minutes after averaging 25 points in the Scarlet Knights' previous 4 games. Francis has had 2 30-point games this season. He's the only Big Ten player in the last 10 seasons with multiple 30-point games off the bench in the same season. Illinois improved to 9-0 at home versus Rutgers, 8-0 in the Big Ten games since the Scarlet Knights joined the conference in 2015. The Illini are 14-5 overall against Rutgers, although the teams split their previous 8 games. Rutgers is home versus Northwestern on Sunday, while Illinois plays on Sunday at number 19, Iowa. Andre Washington had 20 points in Eastern Illinois' 71-61 victory over Tennessee Tech on Thursday. Washington shot 8 for 13, including 4 for 6 from beyond the arc for the Panthers, who improved to 5-10 and 2-3 in the Ohio Valley Conference. Michi White added 13 points and 4 steals. Cooper Jacoby finished with 11 points and added 7 rebounds. The Golden Eagles fall to 6-10 and 1-4 in the Ohio Valley Conference. They were led in scoring by Joakim Payne, who finished with 11 points. Tennessee Tech also got 10 points from Mekhi Turner. The Chicago Bears and Green Bay Packers have played each other more than any other 2 teams in the NFL. Playoff games, however, are a rarity. The Bears and Packers will add another chapter to the league's longest rivalry when they meet in a wild card game at Soldier Field on Saturday night. It'll be just the 3rd time that the franchises of Halas and Lombardi have faced off in the postseason, and the significance wasn't lost on the participants. The Bears are 11-6 and are hosting a playoff game for the first time since the 2018 season, when Cody Parkey's double doink missed field goal sealed a wild card loss to Philadelphia. They've lost 3 straight playoff games since the 2010 team beat Seattle in the divisional round at Soldier Field, and the way that season ended remains a bitter memory for their fans. The Bears lost at home in the NFC Championship to Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Green Bay is 9-7-1 and has dominated the rivalry in recent decades, but during the past 2 decades, it's been even. Last year, both games were decided on field goal attempts by Chicago's Cairo Santos. One was blocked and the other was made. Both meetings this season were close, with Green Bay winning at Lambeau Field in Week 14 and Chicago prevailing in overtime 2 weeks later. With Coach Ben Johnson setting the tone in his first season and quarterback Caleb Williams making strides in his second year, the Bears went from finishing last in the NFC North to winning the division for the first time since 2018. They made the playoffs for the first time in 5 years and secured the number 2 seed in the NFC, but they lost their last 2 games of the regular season. The Packers have lost 4 straight, with number 7 seed in the NFC locked up. They rested their top players last week in Minnesota. Limping into the postseason was not what the Packers envisioned when their season began. A trade with Dallas for star pass rusher Micah Parsons sent expectations soaring. The two-time All-Pro suffered a season-ending knee injury in a Week 15 loss at Denver, and the defense has struggled without him. Green Bay blew second-half leads against the Broncos and at Chicago the following week, and then gave up 307 yards rushing while falling 41-27 at home to Baltimore. The Packers expect to have quarterback Jordan Love back. He missed the final 2 regular season games after exiting the loss at Chicago with a concussion. The last time Green Bay and Chicago met in the playoffs, Rodgers took a Lambeau leap out of Brett Favre's shadow, and the Packers knocked Jay Cutler out of the game with a knee injury on the way to a 21-14 victory. The game between the Miami Heat and the Chicago Bulls at the United Center on Thursday night was postponed after a nearly 2-hour delay due to condensation on the court. The officials cited court conditions for the delay in starting the contest. There appeared to be moisture on the floor at the United Center, which is also home to the Chicago Blackhawks, who played Wednesday and will skate at the arena again Friday. Workers tried to dry the surface using mops and towels. The game was officially postponed at 8:53 p.m., prompting boos from the crowd. A rescheduled date for the game was not immediately announced, although the Bulls said tickets from Thursday would be honored. The Bulls entered at 17-20 and on a 3-game losing streak. The contest was supposed to be the second in a 4-game trip for the Heat, who are 20-17. The decision to delay the start of the game wasn't announced on the United Center public address system until tip-off. About 40 minutes after the expected 7:05 p.m. tip-off time, an announcement was made that expected start time would be after 8 p.m. Maintenance personnel pushed large mops across the court while players from both teams milled about dribbling, shooting, and chatting at the start of the delay. About 7:50 p.m., players and coaches returned to their dressing rooms and the floor was cleared to allow workers to attempt to dry the surface using mops and towels. Game officials, the Heat players and coaches, started returning to the floor at 8:25 p.m. Bulls coaches and a handful of Chicago players led by Kobe White followed minutes later and filtered about. Bulls head coach Billy Donovan and Miami's Spoelstra were among those chatting. The teams then exited the court at 8:45 p.m. without attempting to warm up. Temperatures in Chicago reached the mid-50s on a rainy Thursday. Scores from around the NCAA last night. Number 12 Michigan took down Northwestern 76-66, while number 8 Gonzaga beat Santa Clara 89-77. In the NBA, the Indiana Pacers beat the Charlotte Hornets 114-112, while the Minnesota Timberwolves took down the Cleveland Cavaliers 131-122, and the Dallas Mavericks fell to the Utah Jazz 116-114. Get highlights of your local high school program anytime by finding IL Sports Wire on your preferred social media platform, and get local sports anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
This is Seth Lawrence, News and Program Director for WHOW and WEZC. We take pride in being Clinton and Central Illinois' local radio stations each and every day, 7 days a week. What does local news mean? Here's a sample.
Great news. They've done a lot of work in that building. They still have some work to do, but things are really moving along. They're actually going to start their first production line next week.
Lincoln and Douglas, the most recent scores, they're below the commendable rating, and as a result, there is going to have to be some work that's going to be done.
So yeah, double check with your landowners if you're hunting on somebody else's property. Double check, just verify that you're good to go.
You hear the local people that make the news every day, 7 days a week on the big 1520 AM, 92.3 FM, and 106.5 FM WHOW, and on your easy choice for soft hits, 95.9 FM WEZC.
Happy New Year from all of us here at Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton and Farmer City. This is Scott Baum. Most of our customers trade for a different SUV or truck because their needs change each year. That's good because we have transportation options for you. Plus, we need your trade. Our selection of top quality, pre-owned trades come from you. Come see our ever-changing Chevrolet and Buick inventory today. Chevrolet, together, let's drive. BaumChevyBuick.com, right from the start.
The WHOW Morning Show is now video streamed live on the WHOW WEZC DeWittDailyNews.com Facebook page and on the new WHOW TV YouTube channel. Watch Morning Show host Seth Lawrence interview guests live, as well as watch archived video podcasts of any interview you missed. Whether on Facebook or YouTube, we're providing 2 more ways that Central Illinois' local news station, WHOW, delivers compelling content for you.
In fields where weeds don't back down, farmers count on Liberty Ultra Herbicide by BASF. The Liberty Lock formulation delivers stronger coverage and 20% better weed control, something Todd Ryan in Moravia, Iowa has seen firsthand.
You know, I've been using Liberty for a number of years and really got along fine with it, but now we've upgraded to Liberty Ultra, and it seems like to me the burn down is quicker.
That's Liberty Ultra Herbicide. Clear, reliable efficiency. Hear more Ultramonials at libertyultramonials.com. Always read and follow label directions.
Here's Clinton Save-A-Lot owner Dave Jackson on how he works to save you money every day.
I watch the Educator market very carefully. I stay under these, supposed low-price chains. I make sure I'm under them. So anybody that's rushing to Educator or other towns to buy commodity items like flour and sugar and milk and eggs and things that matter are fooling themselves. We are cheaper or as cheap on all the items that matter, and I make sure of that.
And as Dave always says,
hope to see you soon.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Ace now offers free assembly and free delivery, so it's never been easier to get a great grill for your family, like a Weber gas grill, a Traeger wood pellet grill, or a Big Green Egg charcoal grill. Only at your neighborhood Ace. Around the block. What you need in stock, with people who know their grills.
This is Brad from Gibson Ace Hardware in Clinton, Illinois. Stop in to see us, the helpful place at 114 North Madison Street, Clinton.
See participating store for details.
If the flu's got you down, the Warner Hospital and Health Services Walk-In Clinic can help you feel better fast. CEO Paul Skowron inviting you to make us your backup plan to better health. Find out more by clicking our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police splatter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. It didn't take protesters long to hit the streets of Portland, Oregon, after a man and a woman were shot and wounded by federal agents. It happened during a traffic stop. The couple, suspected of ties to a violent Venezuelan gang, allegedly tried to run down the officers. Vice President Vance has been speaking out about the fatal shooting of a motorist who tried to run over an ICE agent in Minneapolis. Vance says it was clearly a case of self-defense by the agent who fired the shots.